A couple of months back, I heard Gloria left the new job working as an assistant who just happens to be. If you are meeting her for the first time, Gloria is gorgeous. I mean, Gloria is this gorgeous, friendly. I mean, she's just a sweet angel who seems to have her shit together. But that's to anyone who doesn't know her. The Gloria I know, however, she's more edgy, and she's crazy and doesn't always make the wisest choices. And she has a way of getting herself into and out of sticky situations. And this is often with a list of casualties in her wake. We've been friends for the longest time. Can't say how long, but let's just say I have had front row tickets to the blockbuster that's her life, and it's been pretty interesting, to say the least. Well, it started a couple of months back. Gloria landed a new job working as an assistant for this guy who just happens to be a prominent government official at one of the top offices in the country. He's a guy, so he's influential and he's smooth, he's collected. Occasionally he was bold and he looks pretty good too. So this guy, her new boss, is married with 2 adorable kids. But from the stories he fed Gloria, he was frustrated at home and his wife had a lot to do with it. Apparently his wife, she didn't want to have more kids, and they barely talked, and they hardly had sexual relations at that time. However, money was never a factor in this equation because he has plenty of it to go around under the right circumstances. But then in comes Gloria, and Gloria is Gloria. She's beautiful, she's tall, and her hair, her nails, her outfits, her cleavage, and everything was just fine-tuned enough to draw his attention. She was really everything his wife isn't, and quite frankly, she doesn't have any competition for his attention at work because most of her female colleagues are old enough to be her nosy old aunt. So they start hanging out. They go on a few dates, a kiss here, gifts there, benefits all around, and they were both pretty happy. But then he wants more. And yes, you guessed it, he wants to have kids with her. Honestly, it was not what she wants, but she had gotten accustomed to a comfortable lifestyle at his expense, and needless to say, no was not an option. But she has no plans of having his babies, Nope, that was not happening. It was not happening today. So she weighs her options, and in the grand scheme of things, she comes up with a sketchy plan. And this plan will work out just right, fine, provided he is just like most men, predictable with an inflated ego and driven to underestimate a pretty face. A few weeks later, her plan is in motion. Gloria calls him up and she's, "Hi Patrick, hi. I have something I need to tell you. I'm late on my period and I took a test and it came out positive. Patrick, I'm pregnant." Obviously, this was a lie. But Patrick was so excited. Patrick was over the moon, but he had to be sure. So he asked her to take another pregnancy test, but this time at a hospital with a particular doctor he trusted, and calls a friend. So Gloria, being on top of her game, she didn't object and she opted to schedule the test the following week. So Gloria reaches out to a friend, now Kathy. Kathy was pregnant around the time and was asked to help through this fix. So they met up at the hospital on the day of the scheduled test in one of the toilet stalls, and Kathy's urine sample was collected in place of Gloria's for the test. And well, obviously the test came out positive, and no one but the two of them knew what had transpired. Her boss turned lover, turned daddy-to-be, was happier than a sex worker during a Commonwealth summit. Gloria deserved all his attention. He would give her whatever she craved and desired. And for the next 3 months, Gloria continued the charade. Her sketchy plan was getting updated daily. She started wearing flat shoes and free dresses commonly worn by expectant mothers. She even faked symptoms like nausea and pretended to be irritable sometimes. She had frequent cravings, and she had that man on the clock traversing supermarkets looking for whatever she felt like eating. But this wasn't enough, so Gloria contacts Martha, and Martha is a good friend who works at a hospital. So Martha was tasked to get an ultrasound scan report complete, with corresponding name and dates and images showing twins. Yes, you heard me right, twins. As soon as Patrick got the news that he would soon be a father of twins, his joy hit new levels. And Lord, did he open his wallet to quench his queen's every whim. At this point, I started getting worried, and I asked her, Gloria, what's your end game? For how long will you keep this up? And to my surprise, she had no clue, but she was confident she would figure something out. So about a month later, Gloria called me, telling me she had been advised by Martha on how to stage a miscarriage. So we passed by some clinics in Wandegea just to, find out the going price for a tummy evacuation, and it zeroed down to approximately 700,000 Uganda shillings. But the question at this point was, what next? It was obvious at the back of our minds. We knew that Patrick was paranoid and would immediately enlist his doctor friend to intervene should anything go wrong. But Gloria believed everyone had a price, and she said, well, everyone loves money. So she went to see the doctor one day, and she managed to negotiate with him. She offered to split the loot, 200 for his corporation and 500 for her troubles. And well, I guess she was right, because the doctor agreed without hesitation. But it was getting all surreal for me, and I couldn't help laugh and think, man, Gloria is batshit crazy, But Martha, the level-headed one, told us, look here, men are stupid, and they can't know what they're looking at when you show them what was evacuated from the tummy. So she said, let's get raw liver, chop it up into thin and chunky bits, with a dash of mucus looking like cream. And that apparently would seal the deal. She went on to say that, and I guess it's true, most men fear the sight of blood, and if he asks to see the fetus, you can just say, since there were multiple, they were so small and underdeveloped, but Gloria had to sell it. Martha's advice was just, she had to break down and cry hysterically. So it's D-Day, and Patrick receives that dreaded call from Gloria. She's crying. She's erratic. She's confused, and she tells him she's had a miscarriage and is at the hospital and is in urgent need of 700,000 for the evacuation procedure. So Patrick is in a meeting, so he has to send his driver to see for sure if Gloria had lost the kids. The driver is given strict instructions to hand deliver the money to the doctor. When the driver got to the hospital, Gloria was distraught. Gloria was devastated and in a pool of tears. Gloria wailed. And she wailed, and when Patrick finally found her at home later that evening, he broke down too. I mean, he even prayed, and Gloria added a dramatic flair, asking God why he had taken away their unborn babies. I almost laughed, but all the tears in the room got me sad, which was rather ridiculous, knowing none of these fools was innocent. I mean, Patrick was outrightly cheating on his wife. Gloria had successfully blown a fortune of his money at the expense of his reckless balls. So, for a while, Gloria pretended to be depressed and inconsolable, and well, poor Patrick. He wanted to make things right, so he asked that they should go see a counselor. They did go to see one, and the counselor told them not to worry, and he encouraged them, and he pressed and said if they still did love each other, I mean, Gloria was still young and they could always have another child. So in the end, I mean, what can we say? Gloria got away with it. They, however, broke up about 8 months later over other issues, and she lost her job shortly after. We all saw that coming, but that was definitely not the last of Gloria's escapades. Like I said, she didn't always make the wisest choices, and believe it or not, this story is 100% true.